Hi, let's talk about human condition in light of new research in physics and medicine. Um, in physics, there's a process called elastic communication, or EC theory, that describes everything to be communicating. There are no collisions, there are no four forces in nature. These are just um, phenomena of conformations or groups of systems of communications over different distances. Um, anyway, these are instant processes that are occurring, and it's not something that we can currently understand when we look at the human condition, or our way of thinking, our feeling, our existing in space, or interaction with each other, or anything like that. But in fact, the physics tells us, one, we're communicating with this table or other people in a way that we never understood before. There are actually fine structures in space that are being created when we communicate, and we are, every second. Um, the other thing is we have an understanding of our flora. We understand flora to exist in our alimentary canal right now, but what we don't know is that this flora or fungi um, innervates the tissues in around our cells and um, contributes to what we know or understand to be metabolism, disease, and aging. We would not have any aging or disease, um, very rare, if it were not for this innervated fungi in our bodies called ALFI, or advanced undetected floral innervation. So, just sitting here, I'm communicating with you across space, this very instant. When you watch the video, it's not the same, but I'm communicating with this inanimate objects. I'm producing fine structures. Um, the fact that I have two arms, two legs, two hemispheres in my cerebrum is all because of a fourth kinetic effect field produced in elastic communication. It shifts back and forth. But because of this physics, we're understanding now that the cerebrum breathe back and forth as systems conform, and in a way this process creates instant awarenesses over any distance. Our senses, electrochemical action potentials, things that built around our senses, those are slow, relatively slow compared to an instant processes. So we're able to watch, what we're doing. We're able to watch what we think or see, or not think, but what we see or smell or taste, and thought itself really starts at the plant level as elastic communication processes occur in a plant. Okay, in other words, atoms communicate, or organized atoms along tissues in plants, as they are happening instantly, and as they compare to slow electrochemical processes. There's a type of thinking that goes on, but more than that, I think what we see when we put two plants together and one reacts to the other, when we shock one, is this floral presence. Now, this floral presence, this innervated fungi in our tissues, also contributes to thinking in ways that we've never understood before. But the flora very quickly innervates in three main areas of our body: in our gut, along our spine, in our cerebrum. And to create an aging process, one, with the physics, we understand now that cerebrum to breathe back and forth, and this provides healthy vascular system and neural innervation in our tissues, healthy neurons. Okay, this breathing. Well, the flora, when they throw metabolites into tissues, those tissues become inflamed, and all kinds of things can happen. The hormones and the neurotransmitters themselves are a process of evolution from these flora. the flora then in our bodies have metabolites, 10,000 exactly mimic our neurotransmitters, because at one point, a million years ago, or not million, but a billion years ago, as plants evolved to animals and animals into us, these fungi are the ones that contributed to the environments that allowed our tissues and endocrine systems, nervous systems to develop, to evolve. But what happens is, just on a day-to-day basis, the fungi will create ischemic areas by spewing out these metabolites. And what I mean by that is that they create cytokinetic responses or immunologic responses in our body where the immune system is activated, and tissues clamp down, muscles contract, oxygen is depleted and or not present as the fungi wear out our vascular system and or create instant processes. The signals, the neural signals that are sent up to our cerebrum after a metabolic bombardment, neural firing happens so fast and often that it actually wears out, wears down, and then doesn't fire, and you lose neural connections up here. And then the loss of neural connections up here means that you're not keeping a good, healthy vascular system down here, because you're not sending signals. And the neurons down here then fade and lose connection. So it's kind of a process is where you get a bombardment, you get overstimulation, and then loss of stimulation. And then a loss of stimulation here means that down here, you're going to eventually lose connection and vasculature. And that can occur starting here as well, here to here to here, and vice versa. And anyway, so that's kind of more of a complete understanding of our human condition. The other part is that we're physically like a spinning top, okay? And when you see a spinning top, it's spinning very fast and smooth and maintaining a nice presence. But when you topple it, with some floral bombardment, in your gut, and you push on it and it starts to wobble, that's us when sin works in our body. To combat this process, this aging or disease or metabolism, to combat this in order to live longer, because it may be possible for us to live hundreds and hundreds of years. What we have to do is we have to kill this fungi, this floral presence in us, and we can do it with some fancy physics, but it's going to take a month or a year or 2 years or 5 or 10 perhaps before you're going to go to your doctor and we have this stuff up and running, that we can yes, control atomic motion, but it's going to take a while. In the meantime, you can kill it through diet. If you will stop eating sugar or anything that converts to sugar, see, the fungi use things that convert to sugar and sugar themselves to ferment. Fermentation process produces alcohols. Alcohol works through our lipids and fats and things, the biphospholipid layers in our cells, just like soap does, cuts through grease, when you're washing your hands. So the flora then are able to make their way better in the presence of this alcohol that they produce in fermentation. So if you'll stop eating sugar or anything that converts to sugar, and what does that mean? That means you're eating brown rice noodles, and vegetables. And if you're young without much innovation, I would say eat meat. But for people that are over 25 or 30, I would say become vegetarian, because there are floral metabolite and floral spore and floral components in the meat that we eat. And then when we eat that, our flora doesn't like it, so it activates our immune system. Anyway, so if you'll eat a vegetarian diet, we can eventually kill And there's some other things I'll talk about later.